a test. This is your emergency broadcast system. And America, a nation reborn. May God be with you all.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we are finally doing some fun stuff. As you can see behind me here, we got a old junk box. We'll go over that in the next video. I'm trying to get some footage all put together from what we were doing there. And tonight we're going to be taking the old dad bod down to the track and see if we can't figure out this launch tune. But today isn't all about the dad bod. That's actually just kind of a side note. What we're actually going for one, we are taking Trevor's truck down to the track. So as of right now, the truck is nothing spectacular. It's a stock fuel. It's got a single 472 and a built trans. It's got tuning on it, but the tuning is trash. The guy that was tuning it, we had a rough go at the first tune, and we were trying to get some data logs, get everything lined out, and then old EPA had to come into the mix. So the tuning is still not right on the truck. Last time at the track, the transmission didn't have second gear, and he ran like a 10-0. And this is 8th mile times, not quarter, so unbelievably slow, which I guess for missing a gear and jacked up tuning with a big single, it wasn't too terrible. But today we're kind of just hoping if we could get something anywhere in the 8s would be really good. But regardless, all we're really after is just getting a baseline, just so we know what the truck ran before we put everything else in the truck. As I said before, there's a lot of parts on the way, so we're throwing all of that together here in, I don't know, a couple weeks, I guess, whenever the parts show up, and then we'll take it back to the track and see how much of a difference it all made. So another thing we're doing is my buddy Chris Parker, he's the one that he helps put on Diesel Truck Wars. It's him and Buddy are the ones that run the show. Also, he's the owner of Fueled by Haters. You've probably seen him. He's got the GOAT VP44. It's a pretty rowdy VP truck. And as of right now, I believe he has the record for the fastest VP truck. He ran 620 something, I think. And today he's trying to be the first one in the 5s. So we're headed out there to be a little bit of moral support, track support, do whatever he needs to try to help him out. And we'll see how it goes. But anyways, we'll touch base when we get out there. All right, guys, so we are back from the track. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning now, I think. So late night. Spent about the last 30 or 45 minutes probably out just chilling and talking with the guys. It was a pretty good night. Kind of go over my passes, I guess. So here goes the time slips. So here goes the slip from my first pass. Reaction time definitely not on par. I don't know, trying to mess with the staging limiter and everything else. I don't know. I just won on my reaction time. Track wasn't the best. The truck kind of pulled to the left on the launch, but as you can see, it was a 165, so not a terrible 60 foot, and went to a 680 at 104. So really good mile an hour, just not quite where we need to be. All right, so my first pass, I actually got to line up with the exact person that I took the truck there to race. I've been seeing there's a couple guys that have some Teslas out there that are gutted, and these things are freaking hauling the mail. There was one that's kind of a cream colored, I don't know what you would really call it, and the other one is a murdered out Tesla. I don't know any of the specs on the cars. I know nothing about that electrical stuff. But anyways, I know they're quick. The cream colored one actually won the Gamblers race, if I remember right, a couple weeks ago. And I heard it was running a low 7-second pass. And then there was this black Tesla that I heard was faster than him. I don't know. Again, I don't really know the guys. But anyways, one of my buddies ran the black one a couple weeks ago and lost to him. And he was saying he wanted to get a rematch with him. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, if he's faster than the other one that ran a 7-1, then we ought to be a pretty good race. So anyways, it just so happened when they opened up the staging lanes, when I rolled up, I ended up right beside him. So, and as you'll see in videos, it was actually a pretty tight race. I was able to get out on him, and I think I pulled on him a little bit pretty much the whole way down the track. But when I got about 3/4 of the way down the track, I looked in the mirror, and I mean, I couldn't even see his whole car in the mirror. So he was pretty close to me. It was a pretty good race, and it was really impressive. Those cars were out there, what they were doing. It's not my thing. I don't care much for this, you know, electric car stuff, but it was neat to watch. My second pass, as you can see here, we still had about the 104 mile an hour. But I started pushing through the brakes, and it gave me a trash 60 foot. I spun really bad, and so 698, so definitely not where we need to be. So on the second pass, I think I was up against a Cadillac. I'll post a video up here. Supercharged CTSV, if I remember right. A real pretty car, but I wanted to race something street car. I didn't want to race cars. I wanted to race something that, you know, just something kind of neat. So anyways, ran him. It was a pretty quick car, but again, I was more focused on myself, and it ended up being a freaking catastrophe of a pass. The truck spooled up decent, but then I overspooled on the launch and started pushing through the brakes. It was not a pretty pass at all. But anyways, it went down there spinning tires and ran out to like a 690 something. So wasn't terrible, I guess, but could have been worse. We didn't break anything, so that's a plus. But anyways, you know, it is what it is. We'll learn from that, try to get this limiter dialed in, and go into Holly Rock, hope for better. But anyways, that's how my passes went. I tried using the staging limiter. It worked pretty good, did its job. The only issue is it's limiting me right now at around like 12 pounds of boost, which is nowhere near enough. But what I was able to do is I could actually use the limiter to just basically get the truck up on boost and hold it at around the 12 pounds or whatever as I rolled into the first light. That way I wasn't having to pay as much attention to that. I could pay more attention to what I was doing with the truck itself. And then I could bring it on up from that 12 pounds or whatever really easily to bump into the next light. So it wasn't bad. As you can see, I left way too hard actually on both passes. And so I spun a little bit the first pass. Second pass was a lot worse. And also was pushing through the brakes. I don't know, it wasn't going together very good for me. So what I need to do is do some data logs. I may try to get with Ryan at Holly Rock, which will be our next event, which is actually next weekend. And we'll do some digging, see if we can't get this thing to launch where we need it to. So anyways, that's how my stuff went. As you saw, Trevor had his truck out there. He only made one pass. We just kind of wanted to see a baseline. We knew it wasn't going to be great, and it definitely was not great. We did pick up time from the last time it was at the track because now the transmission is shifting. So the truck went a 9.7, I believe, but it's really winding out the gears to somewhere around like 4,200 RPMs, I think. And it seems like the tuning is set to only make power up to around 37 or 3,800 because it just falls on its face after that. So while we could switch tuning, get some better quality tunes on there to do what we need to do, it doesn't really make sense to get a tune for the truck the way it sits now when in the next few weeks we're going to have injectors and everything for it. So we're going to wait till we get the new setup on it, and then we'll get some good quality tunes, do some data logs, and then we'll go from there. Also, Buddy was out there, and as always, the Dumpster Performance Duramax was doing its thing. Pulling power out of the truck, and it still went a 597 one pass, 598 the next. He's all over his 590 number, pulling power out, so truck's doing what it should. I think it hit a high 130, 60 foot, I think it was, which was really good for the way the track prep was tonight. Also, the Kill Devil Diesel crowd showed up. They had their 6.7 power stroke, and unfortunately, they didn't have as good of a night. They had a transmission issue. I think they said it's expected to be a broken input shaft. So anyways, that's kind of got them in a bind for trying to get it ready for Holly Rock, but maybe they can pull some stuff together and they might be able to make it out there still. We'll see what happens with that. But we did compare time slips with them, and I believe they broke on the 2 to 3 shift. So they did get a 3:30 time, and it's right on par with what this truck is doing. So it should be good for 670 as long as they can get their transmission issue fixed before the end of the week. Brian Jellick with the Jelly Built 7.3. If you guys hadn't seen him, I'm sure most of you have. I believe it's the fastest 4-wheel drive 7.3 in the world right now. Anyways, he had his truck out there. He had made some changes, and he was working on getting it dialed in. I think he's got a few more things he's going to work on. Truck was looking good, sounded good, so I'm sure he'll get that figured out. And the story of the night is Chris's truck. So as I said earlier, that was the main reason we were going out to the track tonight, was to try to help him with anything he would need to try to get that truck to run the way that he wanted it to run. And what he was shooting for is to be the first VP truck in the 5s. Unfortunately, first pass, I don't know if it was a little low on fluid or what the issue was, but the brakes weren't holding. And I don't know if maybe it was that there wasn't enough heat in the brakes. Anyways, it pushed through the brakes a little bit, so when it started pushing through the beams, he just went on, made his pass. And he made, it was like a 640, I think, so definitely not what he was hoping for. His 60 foot was about 3/10 off of what it normally would be. So came back, cooled everything off, went up, tried it again, got the brakes warm, added some fluid, and he was able to hold the brakes in. And right when it started pushing through the brakes this time, he sent it down the track. he was able to run a 608. So to date, this is the fastest VP44 powered Cummins that I'm aware of. And we were really hoping to get it first into the 5s, so we brought it back, cooled it back off, swapped out the nitrous jets in it, came back up, got up in the staging lanes. We were the next truck to go down the track, and they had already had somebody oil down one lane, so they were running single lane to try to finish up the night. And the car in front of us oiled down the track on the one good lane, and they called it quits for the night. So we were the next truck up to run, and they shut us down. So we were pretty confident that that would have been the pass we needed. But unfortunately, you know, stuff happens. So we got a good setup for him going into the next event, and hopefully he can get his pro qualifying licenses and start running 590 index with a VP truck, which, you know, is like kind of unheard of, seeing as they don't like to turn any RPMs whatsoever. But anyways, it was cool to see. The truck did a high 130 60 foot. It was right there with what Buddy's truck was doing, so it was really impressive. The truck was skating down the track. It looked really, really good. As I said, everybody's stuff looked good going on the track. Feel bad for the guys that had stuff break, but other than that, it was overall a good night, good time. And that pretty much sums up the event from tonight. As I said, it was just a test and tune. We were out just running, trying to get stuff dialed in. So the next event that we're going to make is going to be Holly Rock. That's next weekend. Unless something terrible happens, I think we're all going to be there. The whole Dumpster Performance crew will be there. Trevor may take his truck and try to run ET with it, even though it's not running the way he wants. You know, it'd be good to get some seat time in it. I'll be running ET in the truck again, seeing as I still don't have a roll bar in it. So I'll probably just keep doing my thing there. Brent will be there 670. I think Chris is going to focus on getting his license passes. I don't know if he's going to run a class or not. And Buddy will be there in 590 along with Trey and Brian. So anyways, it'll be a good time. Stay tuned. We'll have more racing activity. As I said, I should have a video up in the next few days, hopefully, for what was going on with this junkyard car that you saw in the background of the video earlier. So anyways, stay tuned. Some interesting stuff coming up. I appreciate all you guys' support. Appreciate you watching. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank y'all.